rebound taken by Iguodala. Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the rejection.
Cleveland, this is for you.
Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, 4-4 and go. That other getting old. We got Sam, Ryan, Tom. This is a sports octagon. Sports for forever and beyond. Spend it with Sam, Ryan, Tom. From the puck to the glove to the pigskins high. Share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. Down the baseline in the bleachers, or you wanna get denied. Yeah, share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. 4-4 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, it's 4-4 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul.
The Browns Super Bowl contenders.
Hey, listen, when we start talking about what wins Super Bowl, we talk about talent. The Browns, they have the talent. They have it.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, I would like to proudly bring you guys to the 17th episode. That way Sammy doesn't bust my chops for the next 2 days. I did the 15th last time.
Listen, in the words of John McCoy, I get it, Ryan. Math is hard.
Right.
Ryan, math is hard.
Episode of 440 and goal. I am RC Colas, what some like to call me, Cole or Colio. I prefer Ryan most of the time, though. But I'm Ryan, coming from my basement. To the right of me, the guy over there, that way, that is Sammy with the coffee mug, and we got Big Time Tom down below me here, riding dirty.
What's up, guys? Riding dirty.
Yes.
Hey, Ryan, real quick. I know you love Joe Exotic. I just read the craziest headline, dude. His third husband is leaving him while the man's in prison. So shout out Joe Exotic, all he's going through right now, man. Everyone who loves that Tiger King, we got to pray for our boy right now. We got to pray for our boy.
Listen, Joe Exotic is just looking for his Megan Good in 21 questions. That's all.
Lady.
That's all he's doing. God bless him.
I wish I could remember the song right now. Carol
He said, you know what, Joe? I love you, but our marriage is messed up.
Killed her.
Does he got Mike Tyson?
Can't tell me that it didn't.
Hey, Becky.
What up, hon? She's directly above me, by the way, so everyone knows.
How you guys doing? Boy, that would be awesome to get him on this show.
Oh, my God. If we got Joe Exotic, we could retire. Like, that's over. It's done. No more 4-4 and goal.
I don't know much about sports, but I know my favorite team is the Tigers.
Former candidate for president.
That's straight.
Almost won a governor spot in Oklahoma. Joe Exotic.
God bless him.
Yes.
God bless him.
Good night. Hey, a lot of things lined up tonight. It's hopefully be an exciting show. I want all the viewers, don't forget to chime in whenever you want. Let us know what you feel. If you got some question, feed them the Tigers. They snack.
David Rivas is in the house already.
Yep, David is in. Coming in
What up,
hot.
Rivas? What up, boy?
We talked a little bit of Browns, a little bit of actually not really NHL, but obviously some COVID information on that aspect. What?
You don't know about the king sport known as hockey.
Yeah, Hawks. Yeah. A little bit of bring in a little bit of college football tonight too. A little bit there, a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Super excited for that.
And then Sammy posted out to the.
If you bring up anything about that school up north, I will ban you from the show. I don't give a shit what these two guys say.
I will never recognize Michigan, man. The only way I would ever recognize Michigan.
I wish we had a beep button so I could beep that out every time you say that word.
That's right.
The only way I would ever recognize that school is if someone from that school came and did something prolific for my son. And even then I'd be hesitant. I'd be hesitant. I'd be like, but you're still from Michigan.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, the thing is we have a local legend that went to Michigan.
David, you're just lying. You're lying to yourself, to me, and Sammy, and Tom. So just
Sammy,
Stop.
Sammy, he's making promises that he can't keep. But you know what? I'll always respect and love Revis, even though he's writing checks that his mouth can't cash right now.
we'll get him going too.
And then yes, me and Ricky have a mutual bond of the Asheville Little League Tigers. We were some of the best.
Ryan was the original kid that went out there and said, "My name's Ryan, and I hit dingers."
I did grab my crotch one time and point to the outfield.
Listen,
Where's AJ Long? Where's AJ?
I may be a chubby fella right now, but I wasn't always a chubby feller. Ryan at that time was still a chubby feller. So he had to hit home runs because otherwise he wasn't making it to first.
No, that's a lie. I stole plenty of bases, and it was on the simple fact that I knew the catcher was going to just launch it over the second base. If they would have ever caught the ball, I would have been out all day long. But that ball made it to the center fielder every time.
60% of the time, it works every time.
Every time.
Yeah, not at
Ryan,
all.
let me ask you a question. When you were stealing bases, who was the catcher? The dude with the wooden arms and legs from Family Guy? Is that the catcher that was trying to throw you out? Because of course you're going to steal a base.
Yes, I don't know who that guy is, so I apologize. I cannot.
Listen,
Obviously, you don't know the Family
I want
Guy.
to put out my favorite Little League memory of all time. I know we didn't set this up for the show, but I don't care. So back in the day, if you if you played at Ashtabula Little League, I think by the time it was majors when you were in front of the concession stands. You know what I'm talking about? The field that was
right. No, it was to the it would be to the left.
Was that majors or junior?
Yeah,
I think it was majors.
majors, and then behind it was the minor league fields. Yes.
So my coach at that time was the real GOAT of Little League baseball, named
Jim Brady.
Bill Bodner.
Oh, Bill Bodner. Okay.
Bill Bodner put together some of the best teams in Little League history. How I got on those teams, I have no idea. I think he saw my last name and just assumed I'd be good at baseball.
Right.
But that really wasn't the
assumption.
Yeah. So we had this kid on our team who was huge even back then named Alvin Rodriguez.
Yep. He played with me on the Tigers, I think.
So
is that right, Ricky? Wasn't Alvin on Tigers
I
with us?
think he might have been left-handed as well.
He was, because I used to catch the I played third base like my hero, not to interrupt you. Third base, and I used to catch
about as well as him too.
No, I was pretty good.
So you admit he wasn't good.
No, hold on. Don't you put words in my mouth, sucker. I'm not playing those games tonight. Not tonight. Not with JT on deck here. Come on. Anyway, go ahead. But yeah, I think Alvin Rodriguez, if I recall, played on the Tigers with us. But go ahead.
Yeah, so that team, we were stacked on that team, but Alvin Rodriguez was bar none our big hitter, and he was a left-handed hitter. And I watched him. I remember in a game, him hitting a home run and it hitting the roof of the concession stand. And I sat in awe. And mind you, like if you look at it now, it's not that far. But when you're in majors, I think you're 10 or 11 years old. As far as I was concerned, that dude was like Aaron Judge. Like that was, I'm like, oh, well, he's the greatest of all time. That nobody's ever going to be able to hit the ball like that. I've never seen anything like it.
Right. I will say in the minors, the field in front of the concession stand. So I don't know. The one that was always like a little bit raunchier. The one field was like super nice. Mm-hmm. And the field to the left, it was like kind of ghetto in a way, but it worked. I did blast one out of there and hit the concession stand myself. So that was minor league. So I was like 8. I have to put that out there. I was only like, kids in high school football, they talk about how they scored a touchdown. And that was like the closest thing to me ever being prevalent in sports in that aspect that I've ever had. So
I was a bunter. Because at that time, believe it or not, I was actually fast when I was a kid. When I was young, I could run. So I would just run. And I was short too. So if you were in my way, I'd just run right into your hip. So most of the time people just drop the ball anyway.
Yeah, so anyone watching, they got a good Little League experience. Go ahead, Tom, if you got one. Did you play Little League, Tom?
I wish Ricky DeWeese was on here because that's how I met him, was in Little League when he told Brendan Palm that he could bench press him when we played them in a night game. It was the listen. So
David,
Brendan
this is
Paul,
a fallacy.
I'm sorry for
Never
taking over.
trust the
Tom.
Browns.
I'll give you back the mic, but listen,
You
we
won't.
all know collectively that Brendan Palm is probably one of the biggest, the world-class junk talkers of all time.
You were all
But
learning
it's not
that.
regular junk talk. It's like very controlled, like a smug, like type of deal. So we're playing on the Indians because that was like the only team I ever played on, except I played on the White Sox 1 year of majors or minors. So we're in our night game, and we get to go against the
Oh
Braves.
yeah, the night game, the one game
Remember,
a
that was
year.
huge. You got to play at Smith Field under the lights.
Yeah, yep.
So
I got a good story too. I'll tell it after this. But
we're in our night game, and we're playing the Braves. And I can't remember who else was on that team, but the Braves were pretty good. They had quite a few guys on that team anyway.
Mhm.
But we had the superior team, honestly, and it wasn't because I was on it. It was because we had J.R. Smith and Alvin Rodriguez, Ryan Schick.
Ryan Schick.
Yeah,
That's a name I haven't heard in a long
Well, no,
time.
that was the Reds. But we were stacked. Gino Pisano. We had a lot of guys that were really, really good at baseball on that team. Harrison Smith was on that team.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Harrison
So,
Smith.
yeah, we're before he was a
6'3"
basketball
as
player,
a 10. Harrison Smith.
before
Dear
he was
God
a
in heaven.
basketball player, he was a baseball player. Anyway, so we're playing the night game against the Braves, and Ricky DeWeese. I played second base, and Brendan Palm obviously was a shortstop. So Ricky DeWeese, he actually he has a nice hit, gets a double. And me and Brendan are talking back and forth between each other, like acting like he's not there and saying how slow the kid at second base is. Well, he is so mad. He was ready to fight right there in the middle, and Brendan Palm just starts laughing. He goes, "What's so funny? I can bench press you." To this day, every time Ricky gets fired up, we talk about I can bench press you.
Nice.
One
I do-
second,
I-
guys.
All right, I do have a quick story I have to share because it was one of the moments in life that were somewhat disappointing. But our night game, we were down by what was it? We were down by 4, and the only way we could win was with a home run. And the only way to hit a home, I don't know why the rule was that way. Even if my big ass cleared the bases all the way around inside the park, it didn't count. Something like that, because I think the amount of batters there was. But we played down off of Columbus Avenue. What park? What is that? That's not Masucci. What's the Columbus Avenue?
Field.
Yeah. So like Billman said, but I pulverized the ball. I actually hit it. I smoked it so hard for being 8 years old. It rolled to the fence on that field, and we still lost, even though I ran my big ass all the way around. It did not count. So it is what it is. So my disappointing moment of the day is out there. So you're welcome. Anyways, let's see. I have a memory with Tom during our wrestling days.
Go
Listen,
ahead, Brutus. Go ahead, man.
I had Bill Bodner as my coach for about 6 years. I had that guy, and he truly rest in peace to Bill Bodner, because he was actually a lot of people. Yeah, it's a terrible thing that he passed away years back. From a heart condition. He really was a great guy. I wasn't really great at baseball, and I was surrounded by guys who were great at baseball, and he always, found spots for me out there and actually did a coaching job and coached me.
Mm-hmm.
He was a good person. It's still somebody I looked up to him all the way till the day he passed away. So I think about Bill Bodner often.
Good guy.
Junior year, we had a team that was borderline not fair, because we had another guy who passed away named Bobby Oakman as our catcher.
That's Bobby's my cousin.
Yeah, Bobby Oakman was one of the toughest catchers I've ever seen, outside of maybe Brian Butler. I used to watch Bobby Oakman throw people out from his knees. It was ridiculous. He was incredibly strong. But yeah, those were fun days. That was back when I really did have a love for baseball. That's what everybody did.
The only reason I love baseball is because of Bobby Oakman. Bobby was the only reason I love baseball to this day. His passing was super untimely. It affected me in a very big way. I lost a very good friend and family member, And I'll tell you what, right now, if I had never met Bobby, there are so many doors that were closed for me. So rest in peace to Bobby. Great person, great family member, great friend. But I'll tell you, if I could throw one in here real quick from Little League, it's not like a great moment or whatever, like athletically, but it's a hilarious, great moment on the team. So we're like in 7th grade, and I have Henry Horvath and John McKendry on my team. And if you guys know either of them, you know how funny this is. Now, this is before Henry got really skinny, so Henry was still a little chubby dude. Henry struck out, and it wasn't even close. Like, this dude was swinging at something that had just left the pitcher's mitt. He goes back to the dugout. He sits down, and McKendry goes, "Hey, Henry, that was a nice hit. At least you tried, man," because that's how John talked. And Henry looks at him and he goes, "You know what? You want to fight?" And he goes up to John and he like tries to swing on him, swings, misses, slips on a thing of Gatorade, and just cracks his head on the bench. And for the rest of the season, Henry just wouldn't talk to anyone. Greatest moment of my life was watching Henry swing and miss twice in 2 different ways. He swung and missed twice. The ball and McKendry's big head.
Baseball back in the day was just where it was at. It was.
Yeah,
it genuinely.
We were involved in it, but I just remember like that during the summer. That's where you met everybody. That's like, you know, you would go down once you got older and girls started to matter. Like you would find yourself trying to mosey over to the softball fields, getting shooed away by their coaches.
Right.
You know, softball had great coaches down there too. Guys like Dave Jones. Dave Jones coached down there absolutely ever. Like that dude was the go-to for softball around here. Like as far as I was concerned, because he always seemed to have good girls teams.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, he was, I wouldn't say like an absolute legend, but he was quite prolific.
Yeah, if you played down at Little League at that time, there's zero chance you didn't know who Dave Jones was. He was
100%.
And you know what? Not just a good coach, he was a good guy too. Like dealing with
100%, great human being.
He's a stand-up guy, hilarious, absolutely hilarious.
100%. 100. I'm so glad we did this. God, it was great reliving some of these memories. All right, what do we got, Ryan? What's next up on the agenda, boy?
Did you get the message, Sammy, or no?
I'm just seeing this stuff now.
Hold on 1 second. We're going into the next segment. Sorry, I was multitasking. I'm terrible at it. So, but yeah, everybody, don't forget to like, share, and follow our stream. Don't forget we're over at 440 and Goal on YouTube.
Damn it.
Okay. So I think we're going to move into the next one real quick, and then I think we may try something here. I'll let you guys know in a second. So let me bring up our typical COVID numbers.
Sorry, before we move on, Nick Billman's brother, Chris Billman, also monster catcher.
Was he?
Yeah, was an absolute.
Yeah, I do this. All right, so bringing this up, hopefully it's not blurry. We had that issue the other day.
Who's the best Little League player you ever played with?
That would be nice.
Henry Horvath. Horvath.
Best Little League player you ever played with. Put it in the chat.
Actually, best Little League player I ever. Well, I didn't even play with him. I played against him. Nicky Prashano.
Oh my God, Nicky was tough.
Nicky, I never wanted to go against him. Just forget it.
Ryan, you know we can see your whole screen here, bud.
Oh gosh.
Ryan, you might want to close those questionable windows.
Just failing.
Ladies and gentlemen, our production manager.
Oh gosh.
God bless them.
I'm new to some of this. Okay, working through it. Anyways, COVID update. 283 confirmed, 32 in Ashtabula County. Sammy specifically said he will not partake in any arguing. I am hoping someone will alter that in every way, shape, or form.
There's one.
Good night. I'm bringing it up now. I will. Let's see. No, we didn't, Danny, but I sent you a message. Let's see. But yeah, COVID
Single
update.
too, Danny? Oh my gosh.
With or against.
I'm
Either
seriously-
one, Nick. Either one, Nick.
I'm seriously, I want to know who the best people you either played with or against in Little League, because I always felt like I had the best players on my team, but I probably did because I was on Bill Bodner's team.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think back. I mean, I remember playing with Rodriguez, man, and he had a cannon. He just gunned it down from the third baseline. But so real quick, yeah, COVID update. Ohio, we are going up in numbers again, 566, and then 18 deaths. It is last time we talked, I think we were closer to 500, averaging every day. But every day, everything's opening up, going through. We keep increasing. A bunch in the United States, that's for sure. So, but moving on, we won't let Sammy get all hashed out. I don't think he wants to speak of his question that he posted on Facebook about 2 hours ago. I'll leave that be. Unless anybody else wants to chime in. I'm really trying here, guys, to get it riled up, but you guys, no one's helping me right now.
I ain't doing it. I'm more. Listen, I want to hear. So I'm seeing some names out there. Jamie Frazier, I'm assuming is who David Rivas is talking about.
Probably talking about Jamie.
Jamie Frazier was a great catcher too. Brendan Palm is probably the best baseball player overall I've ever seen, played with or against. I got the pleasure of playing with him on most of my teams. He was the most natural baseball player I've ever seen. Danny Jahola probably threw the ball harder than anybody I know, except there was this kid from Edgewood that the only player I was ever afraid to get into the batter's box against was this kid named Nick Woodard, because I swear to God, that kid was throwing like 85 miles an hour in the majors. And I watched him hit somebody. I think he hit Nick Billman, to be honest with you. I think he hit Nick Billman, and I watched the complete pain in his face. I was like, yeah, I ain't doing that. I'm not with that. I'm not getting
If I'm going with the best, if I'm going with the absolute best, it wasn't Little League. It was a teammate in college, Brandon Dressling. Brandon ended up signing with the Milwaukee Brewers and was in their farm system for quite a long time. He was an outfielder. I mean, he could just, that Big Al video. Hey, I'm Big Al. I hit dingers. Well, that was Brandon Dressling, but Brandon Dressling was all of 5'10" and 185, and that kid could rope it.
Brendan Palm was low-key cocky, but Brendan Palm could be, because Brendan Palm was easily...
He just backed it up.
Yeah, he was easily at least top 3 in all of the league at that time. No, but Brendan Palm
Kenny Powers, there's John coming in hot.
John McCoy, listen.
You got it, John.
So John McCoy absolutely got his arm ravaged when he was playing.
Didn't John pitch like every 2 days or something like that for a while?
But they didn't follow pitch counts and stuff like that either. So McCoy was actually a stand-up. McCoy, as much as his head is going to grow over his shoulders, was actually a good athlete. He was pretty good at everything he did. He was really, really good at pitching. He could throw the ball hard. But Brendan Palm was as good at pitching as he was at shortstop, and he was elite at shortstop. I think the best pitcher I've ever seen, Nick Woodard threw the hardest. I still think he's probably that's the
just
fastest.
Fluff that pillow, Brendan. Go ahead, fluff it.
Was Chad Campbell.
Chad Campbell.
Chad Campbell had ridiculous control even back then on his pitch, which, seeing sliders when you're in the majors and juniors, you know what I mean? Seeing, curveballs and he threw like a slurve.
Jesus.
Yo,
did you say a slurve?
A slurve. Yeah.
A slurve.
A sliding curveball. Yeah.
I've never even heard of that in my life.
Yeah, well, when you see one, it looks like it's about to hit you right in the face. And when you shut your eyes, you hear strike because it goes right into the strike zone.
Yeah.
It's
I'm trying to
it's
think.
a treat.
Tim Morosky
Man.
was another great pitcher.
Oh, that was the one. Who put that out there? I played Morosky's dad was me and Ricky Hernandez's coach.
Yeah, TJ.
Back in TJ.
Really a great. That was before he was a basketball player too. That was the thing. There was a lot of guys playing baseball back then that kind of switched sports when they got older.
Yep.
Like I said, Woodard is still the hardest I've seen. Schick threw a hell of a ball. He was a great pitcher. There were guys, man. There were guys. Matt Wilson. Matt Wilson could throw the ball too. Matt Wilson threw hard. Matt Wilson, I don't think had control. If I'm not mistaken, and that's what made him. What made it scary because he would hit you on accident.
Are we talking about Matt Wilson, the Edgewood quarterback?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got to play 1 year with him on the Indians, and that was actually the team. The team I got to play on with John McCoy, and his dad was our coach. We were on the Tigers.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And God, we were not very good. We were not very good at all. But yeah, we did have Matt Wilson. He joined the team late, and he threw absolute smoke. But everybody, I mean, Tito played. Like, I think that was the last time I remember watching him play anything organized was baseball.
I'm thinking.
I'll tell you, man. Here. I mean, this trip down memory lane has been absolutely fantastic. I'm going to tell you that right now.
So you said you're college,
and this wasn't even planned.
Little league player you played with.
Oh, me?
Yeah. Or against, for that matter.
Well, I said Nikki.
You did say Nikki? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think we could.
I'll tell you, you know who else was a hell of a catcher? Was Derek Burleson.
You know, actually, it's a name that a lot of guys haven't heard of, but he may have not been the best, like, statistically, but this dude, in terms of heart and being able to, like, kind of read strike zones and being able to really just slap the ball into play, Nathan Pendleton. I don't know if you guys know who he is, but Nathan Pendleton, man, this kid was 6'7" and 90 pounds in 5th grade. And just, I mean, vascular is all hell. I mean, veins are popping out when he's in 5th grade. And this dude, legit, if Nathan Mack
Alvin
Pendleton,
Rodriguez, I see your show. I see you're watching the show. Thanks for tuning in.
What up, Rodriguez?
I was just giving the audience a throwback edition of watching you hit the ball onto the concession stand and thinking you were basically Aaron Judge when we were 13 years old, or 11 or 12 years old.
All right, so real quick, guys.
But Pendleton was good, and one more, Chris Shippey. Chris Shippey was one of the best I ever played with. I don't know what it was, but Shippey could move, man. Chris Shippey, God in heaven.
So
he was good. I don't know if you guys remember him, but
this gentleman that we have waiting on deck here, we're going to bring him on real quick so we can share us. He said specifically that he had a good story. Where'd it go? Well, it was about wrestling that was hilarious, but also sentimental. I think it was at the same time. So we're bringing him on.
It's not sentimental.
Well, I'm excited about it.
Alvin threw hard, but he might kill you. If you got hit by Alvin, you can cut it. That's why they put him at catcher.
So we're gonna bring him on real quick.
He was the size of a grown man.
Let him share a story real quick. So if everyone on the show could welcome Danny Reed in. What up, Danny?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Let's
go. You know,
this is seamless.
Danny, who's the best Little League player you ever played with?
Best Little League player I ever played with?
Yeah.
Myself, obviously. I played right for a year.
I get co-sign. I would say the same thing.
I played for 1 year. I had ADD, so I was really bored. I think I left the field of play to use the restroom without asking anyone once. I was upper echelon baseball player. I got to tell you. No, I love baseball now. When I was a kid, I did not have the attention span for baseball. My wife's here just throwing stuff around everywhere.
Way to go. Way to go. Tell her she's live. Millions are watching.
Hold on, Gracie. All right, so not to take up much of your time on here, you guys were sharing baseball stories. I wasn't certain that's what you were doing at first. But I do have a story to share with you. A couple years ago, when I was coaching, I had a great bunch of seniors that were in the playoff portion of the wrestling tournaments, and we were at district, and we had 2 kids that were pretty much what we thought would go on to state and have a fairly good shot. One of them had been there 2 years prior. The other one had just missed it the year before. And so let's talk about that kid. I'm not going to name his name because I don't want to embarrass him on here. But it's no one from our area. You wouldn't. His name is Jacob. We'll go with Jacob. All right. Jacob. Going into the second day of the tournaments, I was driving separately from the bus.
Darren Osborne, new watcher. How's it going, Darren? Go ahead, Danny.
Is that me or you guys?
No, I think it's Sammy.
Feedback?
Yep. Go ahead, Danny.
So I had texted him to see like when his match was on the board to make sure that I made it in time. And he let me know. So his match happens and he loses a heartbreaker by 1 point. And we step off the mat. We're stunned. And I step away after consoling him, I walk away to text my wife. And I'm texting, Jacob just lost his match. His high school career is over. Send. And then I said, no, because I sent it to Jacob. The text about his high school career being over to our wrestler who had just lost.
No, you didn't.
I did. So I knew he didn't have his phone on him at that point because it was still right after the match. So I see him and I said, hey, do me a favor. I texted you. Don't read it. Just delete it. It was meant to go to my. It was meant to go to my wife. To which his face, lit up. Oh my gosh! I just got Reed's sext to his wife, and I was like, no, it's not that. It's not that at all. Just delete it. All right. Needless to say, we all know that he didn't delete it. He read it. He had a heck of a sense of humor. We laugh about it to this day. Why I said it was heartbreaking and funny, but also inspirational is to go into that next week. The type of kid that Jacob was, he showed up for our other wrestler. He drilled with him for the 4 days of the tournament, selflessly, without expecting anything in return. After he had just lost such a heartbreaking match, he was there for our other guy. Our other guy was predicted to win his division, had beat every single person in his bracket that he had faced. Goes up against the first kid. He's destroying this kid. He's to the edge of the circle. He lets up, and in that one moment that he let up because he thought he was out of bounds, the kid inside tripped him, took him straight to his back. Pin, done. All the exited the Schottenstein, and we were just devastated. Why it is courageous and why it's inspirational is this kid. He comes off the mat. His dad was devastated, had no words, and I just told him, I said, get up, get off the mat. Pulled him off, and I said, we've got a lot of work to do. You're going to be in the finals. And that kid not only won every single match, he annihilated everyone. He really just there was a fire lit in him, and he destroyed everyone. The match to get him into the finals for 3rd and 4th place, he faced that same kid that upset him in the first round. And I feel bad for that kid in that match because it was a beating. And he finished 3rd, which was, heartbreaking because he should have been number 1. But to see him battle back and win 5 matches to get back to the finals at the top, at the top of the wrestling game in high school was fantastic. So I always think that's a funny story as far as the 2-3 weeks that I had of having the absolute low of doing that to one of our wrestlers, but then also getting to witness something so great. So
amazing story, man. Amazing. But I mean,
go, bro.
Be proud that you're doing that with the kids, because I know that's probably all volunteer work. I don't know how that works, but when
I was coaching, I was an assistant coach. I did get paid. My first year that I did it, I actually coached at Edgewood, and that was a volunteer basis. But I learned under one of the greatest, if not the greatest wrestling coach. He is the greatest wrestling coach in our area, Greg Stouffer, who is an absolute legend in our area.
Stouffer?
But
Okay.
I learned from him things that I never would have thought of as a coach. I remember getting on the bus, and one of the first things he said to me was, always have directions where you're going, because you'd be amazed at how many times the bus drivers do not. And sure enough, the bus driver said, "Where are we headed?" And we told him, and he's like, "You know how to get there?" And just things like that you would never even thought of. Coaching is it's the highest and the low of sports. And but there are way more highs than there are lows, I'll tell you.
For sure. Where do you coach at, Danny?
Springfield High School. I took a break this year. We have another little one coming on the way.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Danny.
Thank you.
Hey, puppy.
About an hour away from the school that I coach at. So every single school that we ever faced was at least an hour, more like an hour and a half, 2 hour drive from. So, and wrestling season is the longest season of any high school sport.
Sure.
Oh yeah, Sammy and I can tell you that for sure. Yeah, it's long.
So, but I do love it. It's it's a passion of mine. I did miss it this year. But
John McCoy, you're the worst.
what do you say?
Absolute worst. I don't want to. I'm thinking about deleting it. He's just a terrible human being.
He's just awful.
I know John. We go back.
All right, then I'm going to put it up on the screen. Here it comes. You ready?
He wants to know whose kid it is,
Whose
man.
kid is it? You know what? If only I could be so lucky. If only they could be so lucky to not have to look like me.
Oh, my Lord. Hey, well, thanks, Danny, for joining the show.
Hey, thanks
Really
for having me.
appreciate it. Yeah, man. Thank you for all the love, support. You've been on here for like the past month.
Listen,
Chiming in
man,
every
just try
opportunity.
I just try to bombard you and annoy the hell out of you in hopes that people will watch the show and tune in just to see you guys ridicule me if it comes to it.
That's
Listen,
great.
Danny, on Friday, you're getting inside information. This is premier information for everybody right now. On Friday, we are going to be doing a music show.
Woo-hoo.
So get ready. Look at you. See the face? Yeah. so
Simple
get
fact is,
ready.
we're running out of stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
Hey,
That's what it
anytime
comes
you guys
down
want me to come
to.
shoot the breeze on here,
Yep.
I got to tell you, I don't know you guys all that well or at all, but like Sammy's one of my favorite human beings. I know I'm going to catch a lot of grief for that because, like it's Sammy and he's going to hold that over my head forever. But it is true. He graduated with my sister, but I really wish that I would have had, more time around that kid because there's never been a moment where I haven't enjoyed myself in his company. He's a great person and a very sensuous lover.
Hey, real quick,
Oh, that's awesome.
It's mutual, Danny. It's very mutual.
Jake Newsom asked you, Danny, who do you love to troll the most? Before you go, so who do you love to troll the most on here?
It's got to be Sammy. I mean, I feel bad trolling people that I don't have. I mean, to be honest, it's probably just because I don't have enough dirt on you. I mean, if I had material, trust me, it'd be coming.
Yeah, keep digging, buddy. You'll get some
We'll
stuff.
We'll never let Sammy live down the fact that he offered me $5 for a crappy beer once, like an absolute terrible beer.
Natty Light coming in hot. Well, again, thank you so much, Danny, for joining the stream.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Danny. Get it ready because Danny can talk about music for days, so I can't wait.
Yep.
All right,
buddy. We're gonna keep booting you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
right.
Danny. Later. Yeah. So, real quick. So, what we're gonna do is we're gonna try this out. Everyone's seen how Danny Reed worked with that. We're gonna give it a go. I'm gonna put a link up here in the comment section. That will allow you to.
What?
No.
No.
Wait. I thought you said yes.
No. Message the show.
Okay, I'm sorry. If you want to join the show, we're doing this on the fly. If you would like to join the show and talk about your favorite Little League team, you can message the show or you can message Ryan. If you message me right on Facebook, I can send you a link to get right on. So, if that's something you guys want to do.
Or send 440 and goal a message. Ryan would probably be the easier way to do it because he's got it tuned up, pulled up right in front of him. But send a message if you want to get on the show. And the question that we're asking right now is, who is the best Little League player you've played with? Or what is the best Little League team you've been on?
It only takes about 30 seconds to have you pop in. Let us know what you think, and then we'll go from there. So, But yeah, I don't know.
A lot more guys played Little League baseball than you think. I know Elijah Cooper played Little League baseball, but then somebody decided to throw a cannonball at his face, which is the hardest thing I've ever seen in my life. I'll tell you another one. People don't talk about him because he was so prolific in basketball. Odell Parker is one of the best baseball players I've ever seen.
Never seen him play.
Yeah, Odell Parker was an absolute monster on the diamond.
But yeah, if anyone wants to join, all you got to do is send me a message on Facebook. I'll send you a link. You'll be on in about 30 seconds.
See, and the thing is I only know the Ashtabula Little League guys. There is a whole nother set of players 5 minutes down the road that played in that
Geneva. Well, yeah. So, and then you had the Geneva League too, man. The Geneva League was just a breeding ground.
Listen, true. Weird. 1 year I played in Geneva.
Oh, no way.
Did you really? Yeah.
I played in Geneva Little League 1 year. My uncle Jim Perry was my coach. We were the Indians, and I got to play with my cousin Jeremy on that team. I don't remember us having a whole lot of talent. I know my cousin Jeremy was huge. So, when he threw the ball, like just because of how long he was, it came fast. But it was, I liked Ashtabula. I never played Saybrook though. Saybrook has like a cult like group that those kids only ever played at Saybrook. And then you didn't even know about them until you got into high school. And I actually played freshman year. I played baseball. And it was the last year I played because we had this coach named Wayne Howell.
Oh my God, Mr. Howell.
Yeah.
Oh dear God.
Yeah, and he talked like this. He was our coach. And I'll never forget about Wayne Howell. I have a couple stories that are hilarious about him. The first one was he made Nick Billman a pitcher strictly based on the fact that Nick Billman was left-handed. Nick Billman had never pitched before that.
Hey, Brenton, if you want in, just send me a message. So real quick, sorry to interrupt you, Sammy. Brenton is, I think, boyfriend, fiance, not 100% sure. He just had a little one with my cousin. Yeah. What?
Mr. Howell.
Anyway,
Mr. Howell was
I'm
a
sorry.
pretty decent baseball
I don't know him
coach,
that
but
well.
He was a great
Send me a
bridge
message,
player.
Brenton.
Listen, so he had
He can play bridge.
Okay? And he has him go through the mechanics. And I'm going to stand up to show you guys this.
Here we go.
All right?
I hope you fall over.
So he would have him start here, come back here, bring the ball up, and then when he would bring his arm back, he would have to stop. Literally stop there. And then deliver the pitch.
They're married. I'm sorry, Brenton.
I want to throw up.
Listen, Nick hated it. Hated it. And every team we went against, Nick's ERA was about 47. It was like BP out there.
40? Did you say 47 was his ERA? Good night. That's not true. It can't be that bad. That's terrible.
Nick, back me up
With
here.
a delivery like that, that's probably generous.
Listen, it wasn't his fault. Like if Nick
No,
tried,
yeah, absolutely.
I'll never forget if Nick tried to like pitch like a regular pitcher and not stop in the middle like a PlayStation game glitching out. Like he would get yelled at. And then another time, Dean Callender, who was always getting in trouble for everything. Dean Callender, because Wayne Howell had this thing where he would, if you were acting up in the dugout, he would just look at you and go like this, which meant take a lap around the field. And Dean Callender, I can't remember who he was messing with, but the dude was messing with Dean. And then Dean got caught naturally hitting him, like, giving the old cup tap, we called it. See if you're wearing a cup.
Mm-hmm.
And so Howell looks over at Dean and tells him to give a lap or whatever. It was the first time I can ever remember seeing Nick's parents say something from the stands. They go, he's not the only kid acting up out there. It's the best thing ever. Absolute best thing ever.
Oh, let's see. So I'm making a message to John because I'm surprised he hasn't called in. I thought for sure he was going to try to chime in on this.
Well, he's got to have a phone that works first of all.
Yep, that's the exact message I just sent to him. So it's the only reason why he's not on. So, oh Lord, okay. So let's get into. We got a couple of topics.
Funny story about John McCoy is he actually played at a regional game because he was on the Little League All-Star team. And yeah, I know I wasn't good enough to play on that team, and that's fine. But John McCoy threw a pitch one time, and that ball's still in the air because that kid hit it so hard, you would have thought he was on steroids.
Just blasted it. We're gonna let this ride for a little bit, or you want to move into a couple topics?
Well, do we have any bites on coming on the show with your favorite? Nobody, huh?
Yeah, if you let me do it the other way, we might.
No, you're not.
Why?
Gonna just random people in here. Tell them to send a message.
I did. No one's sending a message.
Well, then nobody wants to be on the show.
Well, maybe they do. They're just afraid. I get it. It's fine. So fine. All right. So so maybe we'll just bounce back and forth. You know what I mean? Like someone calls in. So we're going to move on.
That'll be the ongoing topic for the show. Best Little League player you've ever played with.
Right. So if you guys want to hop on and explain your story, why, and, best Little League player and why, and maybe it was a great story you had behind it, send me a message or send 440 Goal message on Facebook, and I'll pop you onto the show. Let you guys chat it out a little bit with us.
And I'll send you the right way.
Oh, isn't that right? Just, no, it's fine. I get it. Anyways, let's see. I don't know. The next one I had is a little bit COVID related, but the NBA, NFL, NHL still trying to hash everything out. I don't know if they're ever going to. We had a punter grunt on whether or not that we were going to play, I think, last week, but just some update on that. So I think we should just move right into the next one. Can you co-sign with that, Sammy? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the one I've been very intrigued with everything that's going on with the Browns. Yeah, well, he'll be here when he gets back, I guess. I don't know. It is what it is. He just disappeared. Let me see. Comment. Sammy is intimidating. Definitely will punch you in the kneecaps. Okay. Anyways. So on the bottom, you guys will see we're going to get into a little bit of a Cleveland Browns topic. OBJ or Jarvis, who is more important this year for Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns as a whole organization? So I'll let Sammy take the floor, and then I'll chime in.
John McCoy with his long hair looks like Bradley Cooper at the end of A Star is Born when his feet are floating.
Sammy gave me Rona in the parking lot. For the love of everything that's holy.
Anyway, I'll jump on this one. So,
yep.
Jarvis Landry and OBJ, who's going to be more important this year for the Browns? I would probably say that I'm gonna actually go with OBJ, for sure, because Jarvis has already proven what he can do. So Jarvis went out.
Throw a double decker. I don't understand it.
Double.
No. Oh, now I got it. Okay. Put one up top, one in the bottom. Tom's back. Welcome back, Tom.
Listen, much, to Tom's love affair with him. I think OBJ is going to be more impactful this year, and this is
the screen, Tom.
Jarvis Landry already showed what he can do this year or last year. He showed how important he is to the team. So I'm going to take for granted that he is going to come back and play at least that level. The person who underperformed last year is Odell Beckham Jr. Odell Beckham Jr. has not been OBJ for like 3 years, maybe 4. So this could be a transcendent year for him. It could be a transition year for I have a TikTok.
Yeah, Brandon.
But I made a TikTok, my friend.
Brandon, go get a Facebook account. All right, just quit using your wife's.
Yeah, come on. Or at least put your name on it.
Right. Yeah, he could get one of those cool Brandon and Leah Frazier accounts. Married couples have.
Anyway, so OBJ, I would say is more important because we need to see more out of him. If OBJ doesn't perform this year, I don't know if OBJ is the guy who we think he is. because
Yeah.
you're at that point in his career.
Yeah,
You
I
can't-
mean,
you can't
So
take 4 years off.
Leah told him he can.
OBJ was mired with injury in 2017. He only had 25 receptions for like 300 something yards and 3 touchdowns. And then his last year with the Giants, he had about the same stats that he had with us. I think it was like 1,050 yards and like 6 touchdowns. And like last year, he had like 1,030 with 4 touchdowns. But so Odell hasn't eclipsed 1,300 yards since 2016.
Tom says he doesn't
But-
really know those, even though those numbers are tattooed on his arm somewhere. I guarantee it.
They're tattooed on my thigh. They're tattooed on my thigh.
Anywho,
all I'm trying to get at here, the last time I love Eli Manning. I think Eli Manning's a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think Eli's one of the top 20 quarterbacks to ever play football. But if you look at the body of work here, Eli was on the decline. He was just in his prime when Odell was there and starting to decline. And Baker's kind of on the upswing. Odell's only going to go as far as Baker takes him. Jarvis can work with a lesser quarterback. We saw that in Miami, and we've seen that in Cleveland. Odell is going to be more impactful, or needs to be more impactful, and is more important this year because it's going to show the ability of Baker Mayfield and the effectiveness of Stefanski's play action heavy. So the most important thing for Odell to do this year is to continue doing what he did last year in terms of work ethic, because even though he didn't have the best stats, Odell was still working every play he was on the field. And we all call him a diva. And if you guys go and read on 441goal.com, I wrote a whole blog dedicated to my boo Odell. It's really a love letter to him.
That blog should have been folded into little triangles until it became a square that closed in on itself. Because that was a love letter if I've ever seen one.
Oh, it's a love letter, bro.
I read that blog, and I feel like you sealed it with a kiss and sprayed it with musk.
Well, yeah, duh.
all right, listen. So my quick take. Yes, I've seen Blades of Glory.
Glory.
Yeah, of course I have. John Heater and yeah.
You're Nick Swartz.
I absolutely am. And that's not a horrible thing because I love Nick Swartz.
Hey,
I'm Terry.
Hey, Odell, did you get the blood I sent you? I just want to cut your skin off and wear it.
So OBJ.
Eli's a top 20 quarterback. He beat Tom Brady twice, Jake.
You're crazy.
He beat Tom Brady twice, dog. He beat him twice. Michael Vick's top 5, so settle it down.
I'm firing off red hot tonight.
We did just go through the triangle of greatest quarterbacks, didn't we? And he wasn't even in the top 5 here. And I added him because I thought he was just on the bottom. But come on, Tom.
Well, that was about 20 quarterbacks. That was about 20 quarterbacks, and you added him on the bottom. So you do agree with me?
Oh
right?
my
Come
God.
on, brother.
You
Run
just
it, let it run. You got 5 grand down.
Say that Michael Vick was a top 5.
He said
Right,
it with a
he
straight
said
face.
top 5 with the
I
straight
said Michael
face.
Vick is the greatest of all time.
Oh, okay.
Not top 5.
Even better. Even
No,
better.
did you know that football gets played outside Madden?
Right.
Did you know that?
What's up?
Did you know that
Huh?
football gets played outside of Madden?
Yeah, you got NFL Blitz. You've got you got an NFL 2K5. I mean, come on, bro. Absolutely. Texas
All right, listen.
Super Bowl, for God's sake. Of course it gets played outside of Madden.
Don't forget, everybody, if you guys want to join in on the show, message 440 and goal, or you can just message me directly. I'll send you a link where you can pop in and let us know who your favorite Little League player was, whether it was a teammate or someone you played against. All you got to do is message me. I'll send you a link and you can pop in. So, biggest
at Madden 2002.
what? I'm losing brain cells per Bobby Chenault. So
You know what, John? They haven't tried that mute feature on me, but I'm still waiting for that prison workout, dog. John promised me a prison workout. I want a prison workout.
Oh my
I'm trying to get yoked. I'm trying to get Hernandez level yoked.
I don't know how I look at that. The prison
Listen,
workout. Anyways,
if Justin Zwick isn't your top quarterback in college of all time, I don't want to talk to you.
so
If Winky isn't your top
I'm trying to
quarterback,
hate you
don't know
guys.
each other.
Hope you all fall in dog crap tomorrow. Yeah, I don't want to get you hit by a train, but I mean that's next
That was
on the
excessive.
topic. Yeah, a little bit. Anyways, oh yeah, I got you, buddy. Per John McCoy, OBJ is probably a top. He's top. I'll bet top 5
Top 5
receiver all day long. Right now, currently in the NFL, he is going to demand double coverage pretty much every time he steps on the field, which is probably, I don't know, 88% of the plays, somewhere in that ballpark area. Okay, sorry. Sammy's sending me comments, and I got to try to read them and talk. They can talk the entire time, but I can't get 4 seconds in before I have to try to change everything. So it's fine, Sammy. It's fine. I get it. No, I know. I get it, but
eye on that screen.
give me a minute. Just give me a minute. I'm going to put the sunglasses on if I have to. All right? That's just what's going to happen in this household.
Fun fact.
Yeah,
I sold more cars in Columbus last year than Craig Krenzel did. I don't even work in Columbus.
Wait a minute. What'd you say?
I said, fun fact, I sold more cars in Columbus than Craig Krenzel did last year, and I don't even work in Columbus.
Does he really
It's
sell
a real
cars?
thing.
No, anyways, OBJ is going to demand double coverage on a regular basis, which is going to leave the field open for Jarvis Landry more than anything. But I think the tight ends are really going to have the biggest role this year with the Cleveland Browns. We talked about it last show. They got 4 tight ends, and
is he going to require it though? On a serious note, OBJ. And here's why I say this is because OBJ has done nothing to prove that he's that guy in a couple years. So for the first 3 or 4 games, they may be just treating him like he's a pedestrian receiver.
That's sure.
Good.
I mean, that would be an amazing thing if that's what happens.
Prove it, because I've got news for you. One-handed catch against Dallas is not going to put you in the Hall of Fame. And right now, he's not even close.
He's in my Hall of Fame.
He's in your Heart of Fame.
Yes,
so I would say, just so everyone knows what my opinion, because obviously it doesn't matter, but I'm going to say Jarvis is going to be a little more important this year. And I agree with Sammy's take. Beginning of the year, OBJ might light up the skies. It's going to be nice and warm and, no issues running around, but then it's going to get cold, and that's when the dink and dunk starts happening and Chubb gets the ball. So OBJ is not going to be the man for the win next year. It will be Jarvis with still a better year than OBJ, in my opinion. So,
you think he's going to have more yards than OBJ? Because
no, he won't have more yards because OBJ is going to be the long ball man. That's just, in my opinion, what it's going to be. But Jarvis is going to have more receptions across the board than what he's going to have.
Yards and receptions both, I think, are going to be Jarvis. I think Odell Beckham's going to have more touchdowns.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah, I go with that.
Have more touchdowns.
But I think Jarvis is going to
Odell will have no less than 14 touchdowns this year. I will mark it right now. Odell has no less than 14 touchdowns.
All right, I hate to agree with
everyone.
What are you getting tattooed where? Because listen, there's going to start being repercussions for these takes.
My God, 14 touchdowns.
I will get on the stern of the SS Ross. The stern of the SS Ross. I will get his face tattooed if he has less than 14 touchdowns. And I'm being 100% serious.
Mark it.
Agree.
I'm going to agree with with John on this one. I think the tight ends are going to be very crucial to this team this year in the running game. Yeah, but everything's going to open up.
And I'll add something to it. Add something to it. There will be a big heart around it.
Listen, I just want to let everybody know, Odell Beckham Jr. had 4 of them things last year.
How many has he ever had?
He did.
What was his best year?
He had 4 of those things last year. Let's look.
His best year, he had 14 touchdowns with 1,400 receiving yards from an aging Eli Manning and a deplorable offensive line.
You just said Eli was
you're
10 or 20.
13, excuse me.
Is 13, correct? Yeah, he's 13, and that
1,400 receiving yards.
That was in 2015.
I know. I'm reading it right here on my left leg. I'm reading it right here. on my left leg where it's tattooed. On
I
my
thought
thigh.
he was serious for a
Listen,
second.
Odell
Wait a minute.
I am.
Odell
What about
Beckham
that isn't
Jr.
serious?
is not better than Julio Jones.
Mhm.
He is not better than Tyreek Hill. He is not better than DeAndre Hopkins. He is not better than oh God. Who else would I put over him? What's his name? In New Orleans, Michael Thomas.
Michael Thomas. Okay, yep.
That would put him at 5, I guess. Then that would put him at the 5th best, right? I would say he's probably
You
better
guys
than
realize that Julio Jones has never had more than 10 receiving touchdowns in a year, right? And it was his second year in the league. Everyone says Julio Jones is this great receiver. Julio Jones has only eclipsed 10 touchdowns one time, and it was like his sophomore year. And everyone got on this Julio Jones train. And he can catch for a lot of yards, but what's a receiver?
Yeah, you realize
They're supposed to get in the end zone.
He hasn't had under 1,400 yards in 6 years.
Well, I mean, when you're the main option on that team, I would hope.
Are
Julio,
you
Michael,
who you're talking
OBJ.
about? Odell Beckham Jr. was the only option on the Giants. I want him to be
Yeah,
that.
and I mean he also was hurt the past 3 years, and he also put up comparable stats to Julio Jones while he wasn't hurt.
Did he? Because
Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro.
I'm not sure you're right there. You might be because you're the
Yeah,
stat, but
Pump Boy says Andre Rison was better.
Andre
all
Rison.
right. So
Listen,
listen, we're gonna go through this right now. I'm gonna do this live on air. 2019, Odell Beckham Jr. 1,035 yards with 4 touchdowns. Julio Jones 1,394 yards with 6 touchdowns. 2018
also wasn't hurt.
2018, 1,052 yards for Odell Beckham Jr. with 6 touchdowns. 2018 for Julio, 1,677 yards with 8 touchdowns. You go to 2017, Julio Jones has 1,444 with only 3 touchdowns that year. Odell Beckham Jr. in 17 is 302 with only 3 touchdowns. So he must have been hurt that year, I assume.
He was hurt very badly that year.
So you go for 15 and 16, which are his big years, okay?
But also, Sammy, think about this, though. Julio also had probably 25, 26 more catches than Odell last year, and probably had about 40-something more catches than Odell the year before.
Yeah, but here's the other
So
thing.
those numbers will be inflated.
Yeah, but you have to take this into account, too. Julio Jones was on the opposite side of the field of Roddy White, who was an absolute monster. So Odell Beckham Jr. has never had anybody who is even comparable to him as a receiver on his team. So Odell Beckham Jr., his numbers should be way higher. Roddy White he's an Atlanta Hall of Famer, but he was definitely a solid guy. OBJ might be hype. OBJ could very well be hype.
I don't know, bro. That's a bold statement, Cotton.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't had a quality season out of him since
The entire Browns team in 2019 was hype. That's all they were. The entire team.
Except for Myles Garrett.
It was
Except for Myles Garrett.
It was a team full of supposed tos.
Yes, for sure was.
Kind of like
For sure
Jim Tomey. Kind of like Jim Tomey.
All right. I heard that. I'm not paying attention in the most efficient way, but I did hear that. Anyways, let's see. So Sammy put a post
Look
out
at
on
me
our
when you talk to me, Ryan.
our web, our not our web page, but our Facebook page. And I thought it was very interesting. And let's see what everyone else's take is. But the question is: would you rather Browns make the playoffs with a bad Baker, or would you rather them miss the playoffs with an elite Baker? So that's a super tough question because obviously the Cleveland Browns are on quarterback, I don't know, 3,922 over the past 20 years, whatever it is. Because knowing that we have consistency, but I just don't know how that. I mean, if you got an elite Baker with everyone around him, I think it's hard to miss the playoffs. Very hard.
Well, that's
So-
so here's the thing. If Baker Mayfield, if you miss the playoffs, but Baker Mayfield played elite, then you are wrong about everybody else. You are wrong about Nick Chubb. You're wrong about Jarvis. You're wrong about OBJ. You're wrong about Hooper. You're wrong about the defense completely. But the problem on the other side of this question is, if you make the playoffs and Baker plays piss poor, how do you move on from a playoff quarterback in a team that is starved for playoffs? So do you become Cincinnati? Are you going to become Cincinnati, where you may win? You're going to win division titles. You're going to win every year. You're going to make the playoffs, but you're making an early exit because that's where the separators come.
But at this point, as long as we, so I'm trying not to veer from the question, but I think I'm going to go with Nick on this one. I'd rather miss the playoffs and know we have a quarterback for the future than make the playoffs and he's just a bum for, he has out of 16 games, he has 7 good games, but the other 9 are just sketchy at best and we just barely get by. I think I'd rather go that route, but you're right. I know what you're saying. You're right, because someone's failing somewhere at that point in time. Right. So you
have to get a different coach again.
Brendan says sign Eli. I agree with John. Can we just win? Why don't we start with that? You're right. You're right, but it's a sports banter show, so it's about debate. So I definitely would have to side on the side of Baker having an elite year, going to the Pro Bowl, all that fun stuff, and miss the playoffs, because you did kind of skip into it and you went into not even the wild card. You said, divisional championship and then losing out the first. That's still making the playoffs. You know what I mean? In some way, shape, or form.
No. If Baker is playing elite, okay?
Right.
This is this question. If Baker plays elite, but we don't make the playoffs at all, we win 7 games. But Baker Mayfield has,
5,000 yards, 35 touchdowns,
yards, and he's got a touchdown interception ratio of 5-1. Okay, with almost no turnovers, his QBR is through the roof. But our defense sucks. Our running game sucks. Our tight ends aren't doing anything. We don't have any support outside of Baker, or everything else works on the team. Everything is working. Nick Chubb is a MVP candidate. We've got wide receivers that are making catches when they have to. You've got Odell Beckham Jr. taking Baker out of, taking bad throws of Baker and turning them into something. You've got a defense that overproduces and a linebacking core that somehow gets better. So everybody else is good, and we sneak into the playoffs with 9 wins. Or 8 or 9 wins. We sneak in there, but we have less than stellar quarterback play from Baker. My personal take on that is I would rather get into the playoffs with the team, see what happens, and then we can look. And you know what, team, you can get to the Super Bowl without great Super Bowl with guys like Jimmy Garoppolo. But then you have to make the decision: is it time to move on? Because if Baker plays elite and he's leading the league in everything but wins, what is the point?
It's true. That's true. It
falls on him.
I would rather see Baker play poorly and us make the playoffs, because the fact of the matter is, at the end of the day, the Cleveland Browns aren't Baker Mayfield. The Cleveland Browns are the sum of all their collective parts. So if we make the playoffs, it's because other things went well. And guess what, guys? We have someone on our bench that was responsible for one of the greatest comebacks, touchdowns, everything in the history of football, throwing to Stephon Diggs, and his name's Case Keenum. The man knows how to kind of win a little bit in the playoffs. So if everything works and Baker isn't great, guess what? We can definitely move on from Baker. 2021, Jameis Winston, Mitch Trubisky, Ryan Fitzpatrick are free agents. You got Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields. You got that kid from Florida, Justin Trask, coming out. The fact of the matter is, if you really want to move on from Baker, if he doesn't play that well, something worked all right that we could cover his deficiencies and make the playoffs. So the fact of the matter is, I would rather make the playoffs than anything else. I mean, because like I said before, the Cleveland Browns aren't Baker Mayfield. The Cleveland Browns are the sum of all their collective parts. So if Baker plays bad,
Good take.
you can move on from him. But the fact of the matter is, we made the playoffs. We have made some noise, and we had a veteran quarterback out there in Case Keenum who knows how to win. So, I mean, the thing is, let it ride with that. I mean, because
You could be
what would you rather have? What would you rather have? Like, would you rather have us miss the playoffs, or would you rather it be like, hey, we're playing football in January and late December, boys? Like, you know what I mean? Who cares who's the quarterback?
Yeah, I want to see. My personal take on it is, like I said, get in the playoffs, because if you get this team to the playoffs and Baker Mayfield is not playing well, we're just barely getting by. You know what I mean? We're barely getting by because of his offensive plays. That means the defense figured it out. We've got a hell of a run game. And then what you've got is, if our receiving core looks good and our tight ends are looking good, and we need to move on, the Browns are in a position where a veteran leaving his team could look at the Browns and be like, yeah, I could win with them. I could win with those guys.
Yeah.
I'll go there. I'll beat Tom Brady to Tampa, but instead of Tom Brady to Tampa, it's Tom Brady to Cleveland.
So here's a question for you.
Here's
a question for you.
Buck Gronkaneers, didn't
Let's just say, for the sake of you know what and giggles, the big thing happens where, you know, Jordan Love comes on and Green Bay's like, you know what, Aaron? There's the door. Don't let it hit you where the good Lord split you. I think it'd be pretty easy to move on from Baker Mayfield if Aaron Rodgers comes going, hey, guys, I'm a free agent, or they're going to trade me. You want me to play for you? Wouldn't you kind of rather have A-Rod suiting up for you?
I think that experience will be dictated by how well Brady does this year in Tampa.
Listen, I don't care what would happen with that. I wouldn't think twice about it. I would send Baker on his merry way. I would sign A-Rod, and I would draft another quarterback.
Oh, absolutely, all day, every day.
You could draft another quarterback, because if A-Rod does leave, which he's going to now, it's simply because they found somebody else to replace him. So you're going to bring A-Rod in potentially.
First round pick.
No, but A-Rod signs with another team. He knows he's on borrowed time.
Yeah,
he knows
he knows it. He's on the last 3 years of his career.
Tom Brady on borrowed time.
You know what? They pull up first.
Yeah.
Tom Brady is on borrowed time. Make no mistake about it. Peyton Manning was on borrowed time.
He's going to be there for 5 years. No, Tom Brady's going down there because he saw that they've got a nice receiving core and an underrated defense. And he's like, you know what? I can go down there and probably win. I can go down there and probably win this. And it's nicer weather. And I'm away from Bill Belichick.
But you can, look at, on paper, the Cleveland Browns receiving core is probably the best one in the league.
The Cleveland Browns play in cold, disgusting weather all year round.
He just got to doing that for the last 20 years of his life.
Right, which is why he went to Tampa Bay, because he's sick of it.
I don't think that matters.
He's trying to elongate his career. When you're old, you don't want to play in the cold. You
can't tell me the Tampa Bay is not going to play a cold weather team. And
they're going to play maybe 2 or 3 games as opposed to Cleveland, where you're going to play 6 or 7.
No, you're not. I remember I went to a game last year in December, and it was 40 degrees, 50 degrees out.
You're playing 2 of your games in Pittsburgh, 2 of your games in Cincinnati.
2 games in Baltimore.
2 games in Baltimore, and then you're playing 8 home games in Cleveland.
75% of the football season is still in good climate weather, unless it rains. Other than that,
no.
All day long. Yeah, it is.
Oh.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Tell that to Buffalo. Tell that to Buffalo.
No, because Buffalo has
Tell that to Green Bay.
I'm not saying they never get a bad storm. It was not 5 degrees, John McCoy.
Yes.
Was I wasted? I was. Yes, and it was not 5 degrees.
It was 5 degrees. You were wasted. Come on, let's do it. Come on, let it ride, Ryan.
But
I need to go eat some protein.
I can't go with that, man. I can't. No, not a shot.
Ryan, you're a lineman and you have lineman mentality.
It's not even that. Not even that. It genuinely is not. It's not. Good God.
There's nothing else it could be, so we're just gonna ride with that.
No.
Next topic.
It could be good weather, and that's just what it is. Anyways, all the bleacher work, you get 2 trips to the beer alley. I don't know. Okay. Anyways, What is the next topic, Sammy? We just skipped 7 of them.
Sweating.
That was it. We covered the first half. We're gonna do the business of the day, and then we're going into NCAA talk.
Oh, okay. All right. So real quick, we're going to try a little something different here. We're just going to do a quick business of the day shout out. So let me hopefully appropriately bring this up on the screen. And Sammy, you could chat about it real quick.
Yeah, so our business of the day today is going to be a repeat business of the day. It's going to be Lorello's Vineyards. So I've spoke before about Lorello's. The place itself is beautiful. The food's amazing. The wine is outstanding. But more importantly than all of those things are the people that are behind it. Larry and his entire family put together they're classy people. They take care of everybody. They treat you like family when you're in there, and it's a genuinely good time. I like to do good things for good people, and these are good people. At this time right now, I shared to my own page, and I believe I shared it to the 440 and Goal page. If not, I will share it after the show tonight. They are currently in the running for best winery in the Cleveland area. So, everybody should go out, give them a vote. You're not just voting because they're local. You're voting because they genuinely have a superior product. So Larry and the entire Lorello family, you guys are our business of the day. We will always support you. Me particularly, I will always support you. So go check out the Lorello Vineyards.
It's located over at 4573 Ohio Route 307 in Geneva, Ohio. Their contact information, I'll just throw it out there. I was trying to get up on the screen, but 440-415-0661. All right, back to action. So we're going to talk about we're going into the college football now. Is that what it was?
Yep. We're going to talk we're going to talk a little bit of NCAA football. So
right.
Get ready.
So the first question that I have, it was, who was the best college quarterback you ever seen?
I'm going to let Tom start.
It's gonna be a kind of an obvious one. I'm gonna go Michael Vick. Michael Vick is probably the best college quarterback I have seen in my lifetime. And there's other ones, Tim Tebow. Obviously, Tim Tebow was good, and he loved Gator Nation. But I love how Michael Vick ran that Beamer ball offense. I love how he parlayed that success into being an unconventional number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft when quarterbacks weren't really thought to be runners anymore. They kind of wanted the more drop back passers. Vic revolutionized the game, man. And people had a really hard time doing a game plan around him. I'll tell you. Ryan goes to Winers and orders Paps. I bet he does. I'll tell you what, man. Michael Vick did what he did. He did his time, but we need to separate the athlete from the person sometimes. Pittsburgh fans do it with Ben Roethlisberger quite a bit. Fact of the matter is I can't think of in the past 15, 20 years a more transcendent quarterback I've seen other than Michael Vick in the college ranks. Sammy?
All right.
Sammy's up.
Hold on, I'm trying to goad somebody into getting in here. So for my best quarterback that I've ever seen, I'm very, very biased. So I will go ahead and just.
So he's from Ohio State. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's going to be an Ohio State quarterback, and it's Troy Smith. It's Troy Smith. Troy Smith was phenomenal. Troy Smith ran into an absolute buzzsaw in an Urban Meyer-led Florida team that was just – they were too fast for our line. But up until then, Troy Smith was the best I had ever seen. Closely followed by I really hate to give him this much credit, but, man, you know what? Johnny Manziel in college was untouchable. Johnny Manziel at Texas A&M had no right beating Alabama. None. So they shouldn't have even been on the same field as them. So for Johnny Manziel to go out there and give them the business, I got to give him credit. I will never, ever give Tim Tebow credit. So you guys can give up on that horse right now.
Oh, you're
No,
welcome.
I
Let
am
me
Tim Tebow.
let me ride that pony down the old dirt road. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Tim Tebow all day. I mean, what he did in college, I wasn't a Tebow fan, so, never had anything against him or whatever, but Tim Tebow was a baller back in the didn't he lead into 2 championships? Wasn't it 2?
Yep.
two.
No,
Was it 1 or 2, Tom?
They won 2.
Urban Meyer led them to 2 championships. Urban Meyer led them to 2 championships.
Hey, John Krause.
Tim
take it
Tebow
easy.
was a cog in his system.
Whatever his
I
name is.
want to see. I would like to hear from the
Aaron
group
Hernandez
watching
was out there murdering people.
I would like
to
to hear
do
from the, I would, can't put that out there.
No, I can't. I can't. But
Listen, I would like to hear from people who are watching the show
Yes, you
right
can.
now.
Do
Who's
it.
the best college quarterback you've ever seen? I was trying to get Ricky DeWeese in here. Ricky has this guy from Appalachian State, Armonte Edwards. He swears up and down that that's the best quarterback he's ever seen in college.
so was Ricky coming on or no?
No, I don't.
Armani Edwards.
All right, who wants to
Armani
join in
Edwards.
on the show and let us know who their favorite college quarterback ever was and why? Someone's got to
One
come.
of these days, we got to get
Paul.
Newsom on here to drop some of these live.
Oh, you know what? Look
these
at though.
live
Look at
digs.
Paul brings up a great
Listen,
point, and I think it's because it's so soon. How can you say no? You're just mad
No.
because he transferred to Ohio State.
No,
He couldn't even
No.
start at Ohio State.
bingo. There you go, right there.
Couldn't-
He
Who
couldn't
won the
start at
championship
Ohio
last
State
year?
over Dwayne
Riding the
Haskins.
coattails
Over
of Joe
Dwayne
Burrow.
Haskins. Okay. Yeah. If we're going by national champion winning quarterbacks, then I mean they should all be the
Joe
best of all
Burrow
time
not
because
put
they had
up
inflated.
Amazing numbers.
Yeah, doesn't that make Jason White the best quarterback to ever play college football?
He was a baller from West Virginia. Make sure I'm talking about the same
First of
person.
all, from Oklahoma, hillbilly.
Damn it. There's a guy from West Virginia that did it good too. I can't remember.
You're talking about Geno Smith.
Pat White.
Yeah, Gino was good
you're
too.
right. That's what you're. That's
Geno
what you're
was
talking about,
good.
Pat White.
You're
Matt
talking
White,
about Pat
yeah.
White.
Pat White, and then the one guy,
Hey,
he
you know what?
was the
Pat
wide
White was
receiver
good.
running back.
If
Like,
you're talking best quarterback because they won a national championship, then AJ McCarron, Greg McElroy, Jameis
Oh.
Winston, all those guys had inflated
We're
stats.
talking about the same guy that went number one in the NFL draft,
I
right?
take it back. You know
So
who?
did Jameis Winston.
You know who might be the best quarterback? I'm reversing all that. Best quarterback
Vince
I've
Young?
ever seen in college? Nope. Cam Newton.
Cam Newton was dope. He was
Cam
a dog.
Cam Newton. Cam Newton's
Cam
better
Newton was
than
a dog.
Burrow. Cam Newton is better than Tebow. Cam Newton was the truth. Cam Newton was
Cam Newton was a
unstoppable.
dog.
They knew exactly what they were going up against, and they still couldn't stop him.
And
he
he still
played,
punched him in the mouth every damn time.
and he played for the subpar. He played for the subpar school in that rivalry in Auburn.
Dude, he passed for 5,671
So-
yards last year.
Who Joe
So,
Burrow?
Brendan, if
Okay.
you're Brendan, if
Oh,
you're
what do you mean,
quantifying it that
okay?
way,
Do you know that it's
So,
more than stats,
Ryan-
right? You know that stats doesn't determine
Ryan-
greatness, right?
Ryan,
No,
I'm going to equate
but
this for you
I
in a way
mean,
that you can
who's-
understand.
Oh, okay,
I'm
go
going to
ahead.
equate
Tell
this
me,
for you in a way I can understand.
Mr. Vince Young Michael Vick is the
I
best
sell-
quarterback at all. Go ahead.
Let's just
Let me
say,
know.
and because I would never disgrace myself with this, I would never sell this few cars in a year. But let's say I sell 100 cars in a year, and you sell 160 cars in a year. Does that make you the best salesman of all time amongst the two of us? No, because guess what? On those 100
Okay,
cars,
yes.
I made 100 on those 100 cars. I made 180 grand, and on those 163, you made 110. So I
On
would
the
say
front
I'm
end
the best.
profit. On the front end profit, we ain't talking about the backside now, are we?
I'm talking about everything, Boo.
And, I mean, that's not everything then. Come on.
Okay.
No, that's
I'm
just
just
what
saying.
it is. I mean, you can't, man. How can you? I mean, 5,671
Listen.
yards.
If you
5,671 yards.
if you are basing everything of whether somebody is the greatest of all time, then how the hell can you talk about Michael Jordan being the greatest of all time in basketball?
He doesn't
Did I
even
ever-
have the
did I-
record,
did I
Ryan.
ever say he was?
He doesn't even have the record.
I ever
DJ
say he
Simons
was?
and Graham Harrell do.
Did I ever
It's
say
not the
Michael
greatest
Jordan
passing
was?
performance of all time.
Listen, if
It's not.
we're talking about that, guess what? Colt Brennan, best quarterback to ever play.
Timmy
Okay,
Chang.
well,
No, Timmy Chang is the best quarterback to ever play because that son of a bitch threw for 15,000 yards.
Yeah, like
And he went to Hawaii.
Hold on. Just wait 1 second. I'm looking up some
Bengals
stats.
make the play. You're first of all,
Joe
I
Burrow
cannot
may have
wait.
sold a car to everyone that walked in the dealership last year, but he made a mini and nothing more.
I can't wait
I
till
sold
Joe
a car.
Burrow gets buried. I can't wait till we
That
bury
means he
Burrow.
made, if he sold
I can't
160
wait till Myles
cars.
Garrett makes him call him daddy.
That's all. I mean, we're not talking about that though. We're talking about the best car ever to play college ball. So who would you
Best
say?
car to
You're
ever
saying-
play college ball. That's a Kia. That's a Kia from
No, I
Ashley
didn't
Schaefer's
say
Kia.
car. Whatever I said.
You did.
Car. Everyone that walked in the dealership.
Ashley
which SB
Schaefer
school-
Kia.
Yeah, let's see. Bengals make the playoffs this year because of Burrow. I'll agree with
SEC
Jake.
football was very weak this year. SEC football was weak this year.
Yeah,
Oh, I
it is.
have to-
The SEC as a conference sucks. They're overrated, have been overrated for about 3 years. They're dealing with the same thing that the Big Ten was dealing with in the early 2000s, where everybody thinks that all the teams are great, and they're not.
Dude, I can't with you guys. I'm reading the stats on FoxSports.com.
Read the stats on Tommy Chang then.
Okay, fine. I don't know
And
what
Colt
school do you
Brennan,
even?
too, while you're at it. And Graham
Tommy
Harrell.
Chang. And who do you play
So
for?
if the SEC's so
Hawaii.
great, they had five. The SEC had 5 teams in the top 25 to end the year. The Big Ten had 6.
Let's go one thing first.
So
His
let's
name's
just go by
Timmy
that.
Chang. It's
Timmy,
not
I'm sorry,
Tommy.
Timmy.
Yeah, well, you're wrong off the bat, so let's start there. So let me get into it. Hold on.
I'll tell you right now.
And
So
DJ
he
Simons
ended-
has the most passing yards in the
ended his
history of
career at
college
the
football in the
University of
season.
Nevada. First off,
Timmy Chang
Timmy Chang,
did not.
four-time. Yes, I'm reading the stats right now of Timmy
Then you
Chang.
don't have the right person.
I mean, how many Timmy Changs played ball at Hawaii?
Timmy Chang played all
I
his
mean,
college
no,
ball
no.
at Hawaii.
Chase Keenum
Okay,
has the most
here
passing
you
yards
go.
of all time with like 19,000.
Here you
Timmy
go.
Chang had 17,000, and the
Chang-
record stood for years.
Timmy Chang had 4,258 passing yards with
Yep,
38
that's more.
At the
touchdowns
time.
versus Joe Burrow with 5,669 passing yards, 60 touchdowns, and a QBR rating of 201.9.
Yep.
Yep.
If it's all
Timmy
by,
Chang was still
if
better.
it's all by stats, if it's all by stats, then you shouldn't draft anything but Big 10 or Big 12 and WAC quarterbacks.
Well, you're
Because
comparing-
listen, he played in the worst defensive conference in the country of all the bigs. The only good defense they had in the entire conference was Alabama.
That's every team. That's every team, though.
Joe Burrow
You
couldn't
just-
touch the mustard
You
at
just said
Ohio
the
State.
SEC was weak.
Defenses,
You just
Michigan
said
has
the
the
SEC
defense.
was weak.
Penn State,
You
Iowa,
garbage.
Nebraska, Wisconsin were all great defenses. What are you
No.
talking about?
Sammy, repeat what you just said.
The SEC, outside
weak.
of Alabama, had the worst defenses of all the major conferences.
Okay? And you
So
just said
for him to
Timmy
throw
Chang
all
played
those
in the
yards,
worst.
Jack shit.
It means you don't think NFL executives
I
looked
broke
at
my
that?
headphones.
He played
Good.
against bad teams.
He did play against bad teams.
Burrow was better than Eli by the time he was in 7th grade.
Well, by that logic, he would have been starting for Ohio State. Eli Manning started forever. Okay, he never knew the
can you
bench.
say
Joe
you-
Burrow knows
so,
the bench.
Where would you rate Burrow? Where would you rate him?
Right now,
Right now.
Right
in
now,
a
I'd probably
collegiate
say
level. In a
five.
collegiate level.
I'd probably put him top 5, maybe top 3.
Okay, so name out your top 5 ahead of him.
Top 5 ahead of him. So I would put Cam Newton ahead of him, 100% sure.
Okay, I gotta look at the stats.
Let me see. Who else would I put in there? That's a tough one, actually.
Probably
I'll
should
tell you
start
what,
with
if you
number
want
2
to,
should probably be Joe Burrow.
listen,
tell
if
you
you want
that.
to talk, if you just want to talk about stats, wins or losses, which are the ones that count, then he's behind Tim Tebow too. And I hate Tim Tebow.
Let's see.
I'll do my top 10 for you right now.
So I'll
and
put it
every
through.
one
How
of
do
them's
you?
ahead of
Oh
Joe
my,
Burrow.
I'm looking at the 2010 year of Cam Newton. He
Third.
had 2,800 yards passing.
Look at
2,800
what he
yards.
did on the ground. Look what he did on the
Superior
ground.
quarterback. Superior quarterback.
Okay, right now, Cam Newton or Joe Burrow in the NFL?
Cam Newton. Cam Newton.
Right now?
Right now,
Right
Cam
now?
Newton.
Right now, I'm
Right
taking
now,
Cam
Cam
Newton.
Newton.
I don't believe in Joe Burrow.
Right
for
now.
1
Yeah.
second.
Cam
Joe
Newton's been to
Burrow
the
has-
Super
I
Bowl.
don't
Joe
Cam
Burrow
Newton's
has
not
done
even
shit.
going to play this year. Cam will not play this year
1 second.
gonna pick him up.
Not even for 1 second do I believe in him.
because he played for LSU, and you're a hater if he ain't played for Ohio State.
If
Only
he
reason
was
why.
good enough, he would have stuck at Ohio
That's not
State. He
true.
couldn't even get past JT Barrett.
He couldn't get past Dwayne Haskins, who was a very inferior quarterback,
Okay.
and he transferred because he was afraid of Justin Fields, just
Okay,
like Tate
if it was
Martell did.
LSU
He
versus
wasn't
Ohio
even putting
State,
Tate
who you putting your
Martell on
money
the
on
damn
this
depth
year?
chart.
LSU versus Ohio State, who you gonna bet's gonna win the game?
If LSU would have went against Ohio State would have beat them by 30.
Not a chance.
All
No.
day.
No,
That
no,
Ohio State's
no,
defense
not a
was
chance.
such an elite
You guys-
level.
I don't know what both of you are
Chase
smoking.
Young,
By 30.
Chase Young would have destroyed Joe Burrow. That secondary would have picked him off all day,
No.
and those linebackers would have made such a problem for him. Joe Burrow would have cried. Joe Burrow
Listen.
would have cried.
Tom isn't going to like this, but I don't give a shit. We lost that game strictly because of underperformance by Justin Fields. If Justin Fields
I agree.
goes out and performs even half of what he's supposed to do in that game, we're in the national championship. We beat the piss out of Joe Burrow
And we beat their ass.
No.
Oh yeah.
It's 35. It's 35-10. It's 35
LSU
to
was
10,
the
and we
most
walk out of
dominant
there.
team in
Ryan
the
Day
whole
does the
collegiate
Conor
level.
McGregor walk.
DBU would have eaten Burrow alive.
I don't know who
Burrow
DBU is.
Burrow would
I
have
don't care.
Defensive
would have
back
had
university.
game.
Oh, yeah, no, okay. If you would have said it that way, I would have understood. I've heard this. I've heard that stat. But I just don't
Acronyms are
understand
hard.
how you can argue with almost 6,000 yards of passing. How?
Because it's college, and that's how it happens when you're in a niche offense.
What is Joe Burrow? 762,864. Eli Manning. Where are you going with?
That's Jake being Jake.
Jake doesn't even know where he's going with
I
it.
don't even.
Jake
I
doesn't
don't
even know where
I just don't. I just don't. And so
he's
you
going to
got
integrate Tom Brady and his substandard Michigan career in there.
Okay, here we go. Listen, so you guys, I want to tell you the story of the true best quarterback of all time. So it's a gentleman by the name of Graham Harrell, who threw for 4,555 yards, 5,705 yards, and 5,111 yards. Because if you're talking about stats, he's the best to ever do it. And you know what he's doing right now? The same thing we are. He's probably on a podcast somewhere trying to get somebody to listen to.
No, Graham Harreld's like an offensive coordinator right now.
Because nobody believed in it. It was a niche offense. That's what it was. The stats, throwing for that many yards doesn't mean a damn thing.
Yeah, Graham Harrell's like the offensive coordinator at USC.
You're a quarterback. How is that not an important stat?
It's not that it's not important, but it's not the. It's
You-
not. A
how are you going to say that though?
Because
You
there's
just
more to it
polarized
than
it
just
being
the
a
stats.
stat.
Because if you're in a pass-heavy offense, that's what you're going to do. If you're going
The other thing too to remember, LSU's receivers, every receiver that's on LSU right now, their top 6 receivers are either a first or a second round draft pick the next 2 years. Every single one of them. They're 5 or 4-star recruits that are very highly rated. They go in there, they're faster than hell, and they're physical. Okay. So I would hope a quarterback could throw for that many yards when they're getting bailed out by those guys. I mean, if you go back and really look at the passes Burrow threw in the national championship game, Justin Jefferson bailed him out so damn much it was disgusting. Justin Jefferson deserves half of Joe Burrow's contract. Like, Joe Burrow should literally gift him half of his rookie contract because he made it possible for him to go there by catching like 111 passes from him, most of which were off the mark. I'm going to tell you, now this isn't to say that Joe Burrow's a bad quarterback. Joe Burrow may very well be a very serviceable quarterback in the NFL one day. But I'm going to tell you right now.
Joe Flacco's serviceable.
Okay.
Yeah,
you're putting him on the same level as Joe Flacco?
No, I think he's going to be like Andy Dalton.
Yeah, he's going to be Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
He's going to be he's going to be Jimmy Garoppolo.
No.
He's going to be Andy Dalton.
He will never, I will put it out there right now, Joe Burrow will never have a better statistical year than Ben Roethlisberger had.
Yeah, thank you, David. Complete bias of Ohio State.
Hey, listen, I'm going to throw this out there right now. I'm not even really a big Ohio State fan. I'm more of a Michigan State fan. That's just how I was raised.
I'm absolutely an Ohio State fan. And
that's great. Ohio State's a great team, but I'm a Michigan State guy, really.
Matter. LSU wouldn't have beat Ohio State in the national championship. Burrow didn't see any good practice that year, so that's why his numbers are up. If you're talking about strictly passing yards and touchdowns, Graham Harrell and Colt Brennan are the best two to ever do it. There you go.
And hey, guess what, Jake? Eli has a serviceable career by beating the piss and beating the absolute piss out of Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, ruining his undefeated year. So you should really be calling Eli Daddy right now because he ruined your favorite team twice.
I have to separate from you here, Tom, because Eli Manning is a crayon eater.
Eli Manning's a mouth breather. Eli Manning's a mouth breather, dog. I mean, I'm not going to – but Eli Manning beat the greatest quarterback of all time twice, and when he had Randy Moss, too. I mean –
okay, so real quick, I got to go I can't – no, it's not going to move, dog. Anyways, we're going to move into the next one because – and I'm going to start –
I'm getting mad.
You go ahead.
Starting off the rip, and you're about to be even more mad, Tom, and I give no – you know what? Most dominant college football team was the LSU Tigers of 2019 to 2020. Suck it, Trebek. Suck it.
That's terrible.
The worst take. That's a worse take than when you told me Dodge was a good product.
Oh, my God. That is ridiculous. That's the worst take I've ever heard in my life.
He won the Heisman, went number 1 overall, 15-0, destroyed Clemson and Alabama, 60 touchdowns. What more can you do? It's a great point, Palm. Great point. You guys that I'm on the screen with are full-blown idiots. I want to say the other word, but I'm not going to do it. I hate both of you right now. There's no way you're
not that fond of you either. So don't flatter yourself.
Just, God, I'm so flustered right now with you idiots. All right, go.
I'm gonna go with mine. I want to make sure I get the year right because I always mess with the year.
It's probably like the 2012 Ohio State Buckeyes, and they're on their 12th championship after they, blew out Army to get there. Yeah, it's fine. I get it.
No, you know what I am gonna go with though is we're gonna go with the 2000. Let me make sure I've got the right name. Yeah. I'm going to go with the national championship, the 2002 Ohio State Buckeyes. Of
course you are. Why would it be anyone else but the Ohio State Buckeyes?
Because they beat the unbeatable 11 first-round draft pick having Miami Hurricanes with probably the best collection of talent on a football team of all time. And the Buckeyes go 14-0 to win the national championship that year. So you know what?
Why
here
isn't that year's quarterback the best quarterback ever?
Huh?
Who's the quarterback? Why wasn't he the best ever?
Because he's Craig Krenzel and he's not a good quarterback.
He helped beat the unbeatable
dominant
Miami Hurricanes. They were amazing. Craig Krenzel came in and just latched on and took everything over. No.
Craig Krenzel didn't win that game, bud.
Who did?
Maurice Clarett.
No.
Yeah. Maurice Clarett. 2002. The 2002 Ohio State Buckeyes, there's not a team in history that could beat them. Not a single one. And I hate the coach of that team. Hate his guts. I've always hated Jim Tressel. But that's the best team of all time. And if you've got a different team, bring your ass on the show and let me hear it. And tell me why.
Someone else tell Sammy to shove it where the sun doesn't shine. For the love of God, help me out.
David Rivas, I need to know who your best college team of all time is.
Bring on David.
Jake Newsom's probably going to say the team that went to the Notre Dame team that went to the Super Bowl and lost by about 75 points to Alabama.
Great point.
Listen, guys, hey, we have a special guest on the show.
And they got beat by Freddie Kitchen.
Girlfriend, right here. Look.
Nope.
All right. My pick for the best college football team of all time is the 95 Nebraska Cornhuskers that were coached by Tom Osborne and led by Tommy Frazier and Amon Green. They scored like 55 points a game and only gave up like 14. I mean, it was disgusting. They opened the season by beating Oklahoma State by like 64-20, and then follow that up by beating Michigan State 50-10. They go all the way through and beat Florida, the number 2 team in the national championship game, 62-24. That team was just unreal. I mean, the disparity in points scored versus points allowed was disgusting. And Tommy Frazier pretty much won every major award for Offensive Player that year. My pick, 1995 Nebraska Cornhuskers. They were amazing.
See, I won't name any team that I didn't physically watch.
I watched them.
So the only team you physically watched was the Ohio State Buckeyes.
No, what I'm saying is,
Name another team you watched the whole season of.
No, I watched plenty of college football, but I'm not going to name a team before the year 2000 because I wasn't watching college football before that.
Other than the Ohio State Buckeyes, who did you watch?
Anybody in the Big Ten? I was watching USC. I was watching Texas. I was watching that bullshit going on out in Florida. Yes, I did.
No, you didn't.
Who did you watch? You named me 3 of them.
Nobody. I watched the 2019 LSU Tigers because they smoked everybody they walked in the door with.
Oh,
didn't matter where it was. Didn't matter where it was. They smoked them all. And plus, I like the guy with the real deep voice. I can't remember his name. The coach.
Ed Ogeron.
Coach, I'm a friend. We gonna go out there and win the basketball game.
Hey, I gotta go out there and get that day gumbo. Oh yeah. Oh no, you could go smack ass and give my player money.
What you gotta do? You gotta have Joe Burrow. Got to throw the ball.
OBJ came in and gave him all cash for the game.
See what we gonna do?
Hell yeah!
I'm not gonna take a job nowhere else. I love it right here down in the bayou.
I ain't mad at him.
And then his wife divorces him a month later. He went out on top.
Did they? I don't know. Did that really happen?
Yeah, it did really happen.
Oh.
Yeah, they went out there and they smoked everybody. They beat Auburn by 3 points. They beat Alabama by 5. Let's see any other close bullshit.
Perennial powerhouses. Go ahead.
Perennial powerhouse. Perennial powerhouse was Ohio State. And pretty much now that's really it.
You're gonna tell me Alabama's not a powerhouse school? You're really gonna sit there and say that?
Not anymore.
Alabama's gotten bad over the last couple. They've gotten bad. They've gotten bad very quickly. Very quickly.
Alabama hasn't been Alabama since the college football playoff was instituted.
Oh, yeah, there you go. David's right. The Mud Dogs beat the 2002 Buckeyes. I hate both of you guys right now. These schools. Oh
God, Ryan, you hate us because we have a differing opinion from you.
No, because
it's an opinion that doesn't make sense.
Ryan's opinion, because Ryan's like Jake Newsom right now. He's got a man crush on Joe Burrow, and he's like, I love me some Joe Burrow.
No man crush. I don't. I watched him play last year.
There's nothing wrong with having man crushes, bro. I love
How many LSU games did you watch last year?
Probably 3 of them. The big time, the games that were on
Saturday, which is what I watched too. He's good. He's not bad. He's not a bad quarterback.
No, he's not bad.
There was no point in watching him play.
Trevor Lawrence was a better quarterback.
Oh yeah, Trevor Lawrence is a better quarterback than him.
Trevor Lawrence is a better quarterback.
Absolutely is.
Trevor Lawrence is a better quarterback.
Justin Fields is probably going to be a better quarterback than him, and I hate him.
Trevor, correct me. He's on Trevor. What teams Trevor Lawrence played for?
Clemson.
The team that you just said was not a powerhouse school at all.
No. I didn't say they weren't a powerhouse. I said their defense sucked.
You both. I'm done. I can't with this. We need to go to the next topic because I'm getting even more pissed.
Anyway, yo, you know what? I'm going to tell you who a better quarterback. I'm going to tell you who a better quarterback than Joe Burrow is right now.
Michael Vick, I will kick you off the show. I swear to Christ.
Well, that's not what I was going to say, but now, I'm going to throw Jake Newsom out. I'm going to throw some love to Jake Newsom. Ian Book is a better quarterback than Joe Burrow. Ian Book is a better quarterback than Joe Burrow, and he plays for Notre Dame. He's got Christ on his side.
Notre Dame hasn't had a top-level player in 6 years.
Ian Book's it. Ian Book is it.
Every Notre Dame is all smoke and mirrors. They have been smoke and mirrors for probably 10 years.
Wow.
I don't know, man. Ian Book, I think it's better than Burrow.
Based on being Notre Dame, and nobody goes to Notre Dame. They're never going to win.
Ian Book went to Notre Dame.
Huh?
Ian Book went to Notre Dame.
Yeah, I'm telling you, nobody's going there. It's Notre Dame is barely even a top program in the country. And that's just true. That's just true.
Oh, I
Uh,
can't. I'm so mentally drained. I think we should end the show right now. I just want to stop.
You want to go cover? You want to go snuggle up to your Joe Burrow teddy bear? Your Joe Barrow?
The dog, because he makes sense most of the time. No, the dog. Her name's Amarillo. Good God. All right. Anyways, so a topic that we kind of thought of right towards the end of the show. I'm sorry, right at the beginning of the show. I'm sorry. Well, actually, I kind of wanted to hit the Clowney thing. Do you mind if we touch on that, or do we have to go to the next one about college coaches?
I mean, the Clowney thing, you can touch on it, but there's just not much to talk about.
All right, whatever. All right, so why do college coaches usually fail in the NFL? So obviously we've seen a couple ones succeed, but most have never actually made it through the college ranks as a head coach, moved up to the next level, and become great. So as we all know, the one coach that hasn't made it on there yet, but Sammy's going to say he's the greatest ever, and he will be in the NFL one day and will be the greatest NFL coach. It's going to be Urban Meyer.
Nope.
He's going to say it.
Nope. No.
Oh.
I don't want. Here's the thing. I don't want any. Technically, won the national title in 2003, but oh yeah, you're right. It was 2003 because it was a January bowl game. You're correct, but it was for the 2002 season.
Right.
And mind you, that team that everybody that came back, the team that they beat had went undefeated and won the national championship the year before. Miami was stocked. Now, Miami was as close to a professional team as any team has ever been in college, and Ohio State went down there and gave them the business. And I don't care that Willie McGinnis or Willis McGahee knee turned into, flippity flops. I don't care.
If Maurice Clarett would have gotten injured, would Ohio State have still won the game?
No.
You just said he's the reason why they won the game.
I just said no. They would not have won the game without him.
Oh, damn it. Exactly. That was totally right out of assuming you were going to say yes.
No.
I just had it in my mind.
Settle down the language too, dude. Come on.
Good defense was, at that time, slow defensive backs because we didn't have great defensive backs. We had guys like Dustin Fox in the defensive backfield. And
hey,
Chris
is the transcendent announcer on 92.3. You leave him alone.
But anyway, getting back to the topic very quickly, why do college coaches not work in the NFL? Simply because in college, guys like Chip Kelly and you can see, you can develop a niche offense that will take over the entire country if you have the right athletes, and nobody can stop it because it's different.
Yeah.
In college, all you have to do is beat 3 most of the time, and on for a Hall of Fame level team, about 5 NFL caliber players per team. When you get to the NFL and everybody is the best of everybody, it's very hard to take advantage of those little, where you have the upper hand. So that's why it doesn't work. So for that reason, I never, ever, ever want to see Urban Meyer coach in professional.
Never.
Because what he's got right now is as far as I'm concerned, and we're not going to have time to hit it because of what time it is or whatever. The best college coach of all time is Urban Meyer. So as far as I'm concerned, he's always going to. He didn't only dominate in Ohio State. He dominated in Florida, and Florida was a nobody
Utah
there. And
he dominated Utah and Bowling Green.
Yeah. So, I mean, Bowling Green was still Bowling Green, but Utah was making it in votes at that time. Florida was winning national championships. Ohio State won national championships. So he won wherever he went. Nick Saban was a terrible NFL coach. So I'm always going to hold that against him too. So that's where I'm at.
So I'm going to say why college coaches fail in the NFL. First of all, a college coach has a big ego. They're always a legend where they come from. And as long as they're alive, they want that proverbial red carpet thrown out for them. Whatever they say goes and no one questions it. And that's just not the way it goes in the NFL. They have a difficulty connecting with pro players for sure, because it can't just be my way or the highway when it's a pro player. You know what I mean? Like they can be in college. Pro players getting money. So the fact of the matter is they can't just kick them out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And another thing, it's like Chip Kelly, man. Chip Kelly and some college coaches come in here and they really do believe that their style of coaching or their offense or their something is going to reinvent like the proverbial wheel. You know what I mean? Like this up-tempo niche, like boom, 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 boom offense that Kelly wanted to run in Philly. It worked for a minute, but then defenses figure that crap out. It's just fact of the matter. And just the very last thing is media is much more tough on a NFL coach than it is a college coach, and it gets to them. And those are the reasons why college coaches do not succeed in the NFL. It's dumb.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a huge jump for those guys.
The
Urban
best
over Saban all day.
Is Chip Kelly. Yeah, I mean, he came in and he basically tried to bring that Oregon offense with him and implement that in. He even had Michael Vick with him there, but it's really and it just didn't work. You do have to run a pro style offense. The only team that successfully ran something close to what Chip Kelly was trying to accomplish so far has been Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. They genuinely have. They may not have perfected it, but they had 1 year of putting it together and making it work. And I think they were successful because all the teams didn't get to see it every year. But now they got film on them for the last year, so we'll see how it goes this year. But yeah, I would say I don't think it will never work out. But it's just because of that, and like Tom said, with the money. These players are under contract, and Billman brought up a good point too, that in the NCAA you can recruit players. I was just watching, Ohio State has already have like every player is like a blue chip or top 5 prospect, whatever it's called, that is coming in. They are not just, this is what would that when they bring in whoever just to play, but whatever it is. So
walk on.
Well, no, walk on the replacements is what I was thinking. Now they spit it out. Yeah, it's not. They're bringing in these college athletes from California and Texas and versus Ohio. In the NFL, everyone's supposed to be as good as everyone there. Has Nick Saban ever beat Urban Meyer?
Because I know when we met in the playoffs, we beat Alabama. And I know Nick Saban used to get the absolute business from Urban when he was in Florida.
God, what is?
Yep.
I don't think Saban ever lost to him.
What?
Yeah, no. Number 2,
Urban Meyer.
Yeah, no. Saban beat in 2009 Alabama versus Florida 32-13.
Okay. So he's got one win against. What is he? 1 for 4?
No, 2 wins in 2010. Alabama 31 to Florida 6. Beat the brakes off of them actually. And then I'm looking.
The fact of the matter is, though, Urban Meyer beat Nick Saban with Cardell Jones.
Listen, guys, they're 2-2 versus each other. They're 2-2 versus each other. Urban's overall record is 154 and 27 with 3 national championships.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
But again, all I'm saying is that Nick Saban lost to Cardell Jones and Urban Meyer. Cardell Jones.
Urban Meyer has only lost. Urban Meyer's bowl record is 8-2. Nick Saban's is 8-8.
Yeah.
So also does mean he's been there quite a few more times.
Urban Meyer's win percentage is 844. Saban's is 754. Everybody wants to play the stat game until it doesn't work for them.
He still went there 6 more times. It's like being mad at Tom Brady for losing 3 times in the championship.
No, Urban Meyer has 3 national titles and Saban has 4. So that's national championship record for both of them is undefeated. Neither one of them have lost a national championship record. But I do know that Saban has never beat Meyer when he was at Ohio State.
Never.
I'm trying to find. Yeah, so they're equal, except Urban has the better winning percentage. So
and Urban is at Ohio State. It's probably the other point you want to bring up.
Urban coached Florida, and I hate Florida's guts, so it's hard for me to give him any credit. Urban's Florida team beat the shit out of Ohio State in the national championship. It was one of the most embarrassing times to be an Ohio State fan of my life.
Wasn't even a game.
Destroyed Ohio State in the national championship. So
Yes, Brendan, 4 is greater than 3. I will agree with him.
You're right. So you know what? Bill Russell, greatest of all time. We can finally put it to bed.
You said Michael Jordan was too.
No, because Bill Russell has more titles. So
Bill Russell has 11 rings and 12 tries.
Yep. Also, Dan Marino, horse shit. Terrible quarterback.
The worst quarterback of all time.
Jim
All
Thorpe,
right.
best third baseman
Ever. Going best third baseman ever.
Why don't we agree on something? Good God. All right, folks. It is now 10:30. What an interesting show. I will tell you. The whole little thing, or the little thing, the Little League topic, I did not think we were going to get in that deep, but, you know, that's what she said. So,
Surprise.
that, I guess. But he has 5, so that's even better. Anyways, don't forget to like, share, and follow our streams. We are over on the YouTube at 440andgold.com. So if you're on here now, if you could head over there and please subscribe, hit the bell, hit the subscribe button. We would love you for that. Hopefully next show, maybe we'll get a couple more guests on to chat with us. We'll see how that one goes. Very interesting show. So I'll let you. I'm getting off here for the night. I'm gonna go upstairs and I don't know, do nothing. Probably it's gonna be great.
So no post show. No post show.
No, what do you mean?
So we're not going to meet after the show.
We meet after the show every single time we get done, Tom.
Oh my God!
You literally just said, "I'm going upstairs."
I did. For the love of everything that's holy. Yes.
Listen, guys.
This is Ryan Cole. I'm getting off of here. I'm done.
Sam Torres. I'm out of here. Listen.
Joe Burrow's better than every other person.
Guys, later. Have a good night.
Tom.
Hey, before we go off, hold on. 8-2 bowl record over 8-8 bowl record.
Joe Burrow is still better than all the of them.
Rebound taken by Iguodala. Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the rejection.
Cleveland, this is for you.
Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, 4-4 and go. That other getting old. We got Sam Ryan time. This is a sports octagon. Sports for forever and beyond. Spending with Sam Ryan time. From the puck to the glove to the pigskins high. Share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. Down the baseline in the bleachers, or you wanna get denied. Yeah, share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. 4-4 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, it's 4-4 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul.
The Browns Super Bowl contenders.
Hey, listen, when we start talking about what wins Super Bowl, we talk about talent. The Browns, they have the talent. They have it.